monthly highlights once again, highlighting the best music that you guys can find on this channel every goddamn month. Of course, it's all my opinion, subjective, all that kind of stuff, but for me, in April, these were the best releases that I heard, and some of the best releases of the year, actually. I remember the start of April thinking there weren't really too many, but as we travelled through, a couple of albums really throttled their way into my ears right at the end, right in the last week of April, so it's turned out to be a pretty successful month. As always though, tell me your highlights in the comments, tell me your favourites, what you think of the picks that I've made here, and your favourite songs too. I always forget to do this, or I always say I'll forget to do this, but I will include the best songs of the year so far. There's been quite a few good ones actually in April. That Little Sims track came out, so you know there's some hype. There's some big tracks on the way. Well, big tracks that have come out and big albums on the way. So yeah, pretty exciting for the rest of the year. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna start with some ones that I liked, but I'm not like, you know, loving these albums. I still think they're really good. They're worth mentioning because they are highly good albums, really. We have Godspeed You Black Emperor, the Godspeed album. I did see people saying, you know, it's pretty standard for Godspeed. There's nothing really anything new here, but I don't know, man. I don't really mind. Like, sometimes that can be an issue with particular artists who are just staying to one sound and not really, you know, trying anything new. But I don't think really it becomes an issue with Godspeed, honestly. Particularly with this album, I still think it's got some really fantastic songs on it. Cliff's Gaze, by the way, really bloody good, this one. This was my favourite track and just encapsulates everything that this band does really well. I still think, you know, their 2010 stuff has been pretty solid, so it's no surprise really that I ended up liking this one quite a bit. Next I want to mention AJ Tracey, really good UK hip-hop album here. Not really reinventing the wheel. AJ Tracey is definitely you know, a bit of a puppet in the world of UK hip-hop. He's not exactly, you know, the puppet master. He's really mimicking older artists in the genre, but just making some really catchy tunes over it. And I like the tone of his voice too. I think he sells a lot of his lines in an interesting way. It's not like, you know, he's speaking on interesting topics. I just think the way he commands the mic is really interesting to listen to and just really good. Like, he just knows how to sell a brag, sell a song, and make a good hook too. He's got talent. He's got talent, and I was very shocked to come out of this liking it as much as I did. Like I say, not the most, you know, inventive thing you're going to hear, particularly in the field of UK hip hop at the moment, but I still think he might be doing it the best, maybe at the moment. Out of all of his contemporaries, I think AJ Tracey has it in the bag. Big shout out to the Wonky Angle next with this album, because Wayward dropped a very good electronic release here. You've got the house influences coming through, the drum and bass coming through in such a great way. A really good release, honestly. One of those albums that just appeals to me really well, and I didn't want to do a solo review for it because I just thought I didn't have a huge amount to say about it in the context of just an individual review. And I know what my channel's like sometimes. I review an undiscovered gem or an unknown artist and the views like aren't there at all, so I thought may as well just pilot in the rest of this because I think it is really good. A highlight of, well, it technically came out in March, but highlight of my April, because I've been listening to it throughout, you know, the latter end of April, early May, and just seemed like a worthy addition to this list. Really good stuff, really pristine. The second track is a banger, by the way. Oh God, the first two tracks actually are mad bangers, absolutely mad bangers. It slips into the more atmospheric stuff later on, I will say that. I'm not as big on that aspect of the album as I am the sort of like propulsive, energetic moments, but still worthy of your time. Please listen to it. Arooj Aftab next, a wonderful album here, stunning vocals, really lovely instrumentals, just really encapsulates the best aspects of like chamber music, but with jazz incorporated. You got a bit of folk incorporated into it as well, and even a track that's fully dub, a dub track. This artist is from Pakistan, I believe, and another example of international music. I mean, if you can even word it like international music, but I think from, you know, a UK perspective and even American perspective, I think a lot of critics tend to ignore the rest of the world in a really depressing way. Some of my favorite albums of the past few years have not been from, you know, America, Canada, UK, or any European country, or, you know, any prominent country that tends to get huge amounts of music press. But I don't know why no one else is mentioning these albums. It's crazy. This is wonderful. If you're like a fan of like sparse, atmospheric, very, very lovely music, it's for you. It's for you. Next, a big grower for me, because initially I did like this album, but you know, I wasn't that head over heels over the vocals. I mean, the immediate impact was the production, but Porter Robinson's vocals did grow on me, and the tracks just blossomed. Like, the production is so good, and then when the vocals click, it's like, it's fireworks. I mean, I know it's cliche to say, but it really is. Like, if you gave this album one listen and thought, nah, not really into it, do what I did and just play it again in different contexts. Go out on walks, you know, in your bedroom, do whatever you want to do. Just listen to it in different points of the day, different moods. If you're just not in the mood for it, maybe just put it on, and maybe that mood will sink in, because it did for me. I was like, no, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this again, to sit through it again. But my God, it just grows on you, and it's so good. The tracks are really, really well put together. His production is godly, honestly. He is a fantastic artist, and I'm just so happy that I did give it the time. It's really proof that music takes patience sometimes. You know, you're not forcing yourself to like something. You're just giving it time. You're just giving it more listens. You're just seeing what it's like. You're playing it in different contexts, and it clicks. So yeah, I know I didn't really talk about the album there much. I talked more about my experience, but just wanted to kind of give you guys that, because sometimes describing the music can be a bit bland. You know, we know what it sounds like. We've all got ears, but this is my personal experience with the album, and it's only really getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better, 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 and better and better, 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 and better and better and better. It is. It just is. And finally, my album of the month. Perhaps obvious if you are following this channel closely. It certainly is a very Ryan Core album, honestly. I mean, considering what my album of the year was last year, the whole year, album of the year, an album like this in the Latin pop field, it shouldn't really surprise you as being my album of the month for April of the next year. And we have Mon Laferte, or Laferte, not entirely sure how you say that. I'm sure Spanish people in the comments will tell me. Which, by the way, this review garnered some Spanish folk in the comments. I was pretty happy. Or Spanish speaking folk, should I say? I'm not entirely sure where every individual is from, but there was a lot of comments that I was like, yes, I need to go on Google Translate. I'm gonna see what they're saying. These new people, where they're from, but let's see, and it was good. Really, just wonderful stuff, just produced so excellently. Like I say, whenever I find an album like this, you know, Natalia Lafourcade or Maria Jose Liego, who dropped a great album last year as well, just anything that's so beautifully put together with wonderful vocals and catchy tracks too. They're catchy, they're accessible, they're really great. Just really appeals to me, speaks to me, and Mon is great. But you know what? I don't think I even need to tell you that. She's got a huge following. She's very well known, and just by chance you clicked on this video and you don't recognize her name, give it a listen, because I think you'll like it. I think it is really appealing to all kinds of music listeners. And again, proving that, you know, there's more to music than just the country you're from, or the country that, you know, music reviewers touch on the most. You know what I mean? There's a lot out there, and this is fantastic. One of my favorite albums of the year so far. Definitely in the top 3, actually. Top 3 albums of the year so far. Really love this. And that's everything. That is my highlights of April, my monthly roundup video. like I say, I will try and remember to put these songs as well at the side. Maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. Well, probably there, probably there. But also the playlist, if you have Apple Music too. If anyone wants to make a Spotify like version of the playlist that I have, that'd be cool. But you don't have to. But that would be cool. But also, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe. Just subscribe. That's what I care about more than a playlist. Do whatever you want. Like the video. Thank you for watching this video as well, and other videos if you have watched any of the reviews that I've talked about in this video. Thank you again. Let me know your favourites of the month, and goodbye. Good.